Sarah Breinhardt. Crystal D. St. Croix.
Here.
Marcia Brown. Bridget Jameson.
Excused.
Carly Prescott.
All right. You can all join me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, the republic for which it Thank you all. Any comments by visitors this evening? I'm looking at a mostly empty chamber. Is he on his way? Oh. I invited him, but the parking, there's tight parking outside tonight, yeah. Comments by board members. I would like to officially welcome our new Ward 5 representative, Carly Prescott, to the board. Welcome to a quiet Tuesday night. We are so lucky to have you. I don't know if any other board members, we have two sections for board member comments in the beginning and at the end. So typically if there's anything that's kind of like apropos to the meeting, we can say ahead of time right now, but just wanted to welcome you and just appreciate that you're here. Yeah, wonderful. Okay. Moving on to agenda item number 3, our consent calendar. It had the Somersworth School Board minutes and non-public minutes from December 10th, which was our last board meeting, and our enrollment report. The smallest number I've seen since I've been on the board. So those two items, what's the wish of the board to approve the consent calendar as presented?
Can I motion to approve the consent calendar as presented?
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor say aye. Aye, okay, thank you. All right, our reports this evening. 4.1, our student representative will be at our next meeting, so we'll jump to 4.2, our superintendent's report. Great.
You've got the enrollment report there on the consent calendar. You can see that we were at 1,283 students for January. I won't go into more, but if folks have questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Just how they look. Thank you. I'm borrowed glasses to save me. We had Vice Chair Clark and I had a good Vice Chair Clark and I had a good meeting just this afternoon with the custodial facilities group. I don't know if you can do anything in the report on that, but just we're continuing to make progress on negotiations. We're pretty close, and we're going to pause a little bit as we get budget wrapped up, go into the budget season, and come back to it as we're a little further along in the budget season. Just want to confirm that we did receive notice from SAU 104 in Rollinsford before December 31st about their intentions to firmly discontinue our contractual services agreement effective at the end of this school year as they make plans to operate their own central office moving forward. Couple little things, since we don't have student report here tonight, and we do our special education presentation. I talked to Chair Larson earlier. 6.1 will be at the next school board meeting, and the CTC, which was scheduled for that one, will be rescheduled for a little bit later. Just a few things returning in the new year, 2025. The Somersworth Middle School Spelling Bee was pretty extraordinary thing, aside from the fact that to have 6th, 7th, and 8th graders respectfully in the audience participate and cheer and pay attention through a spelling bee, which is not always necessarily a middle school student's strengths, was pretty phenomenal. And to basically have every adult in the middle school dressed as a bumblebee in some form or another, it helps to be in New England where a lot of people have Boston Bruins attire, was a pretty spectacular event. The CTC High School Career Fair last week, and again, another exceptional participation from the business community, other organizations that were there. And as is generally the case, not perfect, but pretty close to it, our students were respectful and involved and asked good questions and took full advantage of it. Idlehurst, I think it was the Thursday or Friday, we returned after the winter break. I just want to commend the staff there and Somersworth Police Department. As always, we had a staff member in the building that heard a loud bang that could have passed for a gunshot. We speculate that it may have been debris blowing around on that windy day in a budding neighbor's backyard. It may have also been an illegal exhaust on an automobile that's been kind of going around. But the staff there handled it spectacularly, appropriately, quickly. the world's best school resource officer, and the Somersworth Police Department. We would continue to work with in really, really positive ways. Did it with both safety, make sure we had everything under control, and with minimal disruption to students in their day, because oftentimes it's kind of the trauma related to the things that don't happen, but constantly worrying about them. But it was really done well, and we're lucky to have the relationship with the police department that we have. Maplewood Winter Concert is Thursday night, 2 nights from now. Thursday night, January 16th at 6:30 p.m. at Maplewood. Just keep that in mind. And I'll also say that the Somersworth High School Unified Basketball Team, folks not familiar with the special education program, Unified Sports, where you've got athletes in regular education participating with the special education students in the basketball games. We started the season against Rochester. If you haven't been to one of these games, there's a home game on Wednesday, January 29th at 3:30. Wednesday, January 29th at 3:30. I highly encourage you to come out. Aside from just the spirit of everything about it, that we always get a lot of students to come out to support and be there for these games is a really good thing. So just a couple of quick things. People might want to hear a tiny bit about Power School. There's been several communications on this, but just as an update, and I'll answer any questions folks may have. We learned on January 7th, Power School is our student information system. It's one of the bigger student information systems in North America, Infinite Campus and others that are out there. I'm not sure of the number of districts that use Power School, but it's probably in the top 3 or 4 in terms of student information systems. If you're a parent, you're familiar with the system. Students know the system, or faculty and staff know the system. We learned on January 7th from Power School that there was a data breach in December, second half of December. And we later learned that, yes, basically all the data fields for our staff and family members and students had been accessed. It took a couple more days of additional information as this came out. We got a message out to all faculty, staff, and parents the night of January 7th with the promise that there'd be more information coming as soon as we had it. The second communication went out on January 11th. And I'll just echo what was in there. Power School confirmed, as did our IT, remote IT director confirmed that yes, there had been access to our information. Power School assured us that the information was not posted, it was not published, and it was destroyed. As a matter of precaution, we are encouraging everybody to still, monitor their credit and do other things. We sent out some resources. We did unfortunately have a very small number of individuals who had Social Security numbers in there. We, as a matter of practice, do not put Social Security numbers in there. We're going to make sure all of those are deleted, and we will make sure moving forward that they're never in there again. But we're working most closely with those individuals, and Power School has told us that there's more coming in terms of credit monitoring services and such, some of which I believe may be required for minors under 18, but we're going to stay on top of that, work with the teachers union reps and all just to make sure that we're good on doing everything we can to support folks. People have been understanding about it, but we regret that it happened. So there'll probably be another update coming out. But bottom line is we have an assurance from Power School that the data was not published, it was not posted, and it has been destroyed. But we still want everybody to be safe. Any questions or and then lastly, I just wanted to share when I was hired, or before I started, but hired in the spring, I think it was with Marcia and Maggie, I shared that it's really important that the school board have direct feedback on their superintendent from the folks in the central office, from the district leadership team, the building principals teams, and from the faculty and staff as a whole. It's difficult to evaluate a superintendent when you're on a school board, when you're only basing it on what you see in these meetings and in this space. So I said at the beginning that would be a really important recommendation on my part, and that probably would include an annual survey. It's probably going to be a couple different tools. Towards the year end probably makes sense, but this is going to be a board decision, not mine. I'm just going to kind of make some proposals to you. But I do want to do a mid-year check-in, which is basically coming up as we turn from first semester to second semester in the next few weeks. I've got some thoughts on that I'll share with you. I think that's important. And as we move forward, just to be clear on the strategic direction for the district, we have got built in, as we talked a little bit preliminarily in the summer, as we establish key measures that we want to focus on as a school district and kind of hold out as these are the top 4 or 5 things we're looking at in terms of data points, or the top 4 or 5 areas. Many of those will include critical survey data from students and from families and faculty about culture and about engagement, and we'll build those. A lot of that's already happening in different places, but we want to standardize that. We want to do it year over year. We want everybody comfortable and involved in producing all of that. And I say that too because it is one of my primary responsibilities now, about halfway through my first year. Sorry, with the special education presentation not happening today, I figured I'd jump in it. So we got a little time. But this is the last item. Has really been kind of getting to know the district and all the aspects of it. Kat has been doing the exact same thing as a superintendent. Katie knows the district better than anybody, but it's kind of, everything's always changing. We're looking at procedures and all. For a handful of different reasons, I wanted to make sure we weren't missing anything. And with a heads up to the admin team, put together a survey, which is really a chance to make sure the superintendent hasn't missed anything. Katie and Kat were part of that as well. And just all that dynamic, because in the future, as we publish these and share these and own these, it'll be a different dynamic. We did it the way that we did it, I think was important, and we're going to provide feedback on critical aspects to different folks and generally as well. I can tell you, and Katie and Kat are the other 2 folks that have been through it in great detail, and our IT director, Sal Inez, was the one that kind of was the administrator, made sure that we weren't collecting email addresses and all that stuff, and is doing a terrific job for us. It was overwhelmingly positive across the district. There's a tremendous sense of hope and about where we're going to go next, that we have our challenges, but that folks feel pretty good and are open-minded about next steps. And the pockets and areas that we're most focused on were mostly confirmed. I don't know, and Katie and Kat can jump in, if it wasn't much. There was some fine areas like better understanding of, but there was nothing that really came out as, whoa, we really missed this. It was basically a good confirmation that we had a good handle on things. And lots of wonderful specific comments made about both the individuals over there joining us tonight from the business side of things and the teaching and learning side of things. Katie earning that over many years, Kat in the short time that she's been here, and really diving in. And we will be beginning, I think it might have come up at the Education Program Committee meeting this night, we're going to, as we start to kind of, okay, what is this going to look like, and next steps, some of the conversations that began with the administrative team over the summer and with the board last summer as well, we want to get back at, and we're going to use some time in our teacher workshop day on Friday, and we got to reconnect with the board piece of this and get involved. The very last thing I had was, so I hopefully won't forget at the end, future meeting dates at the bottom. Buildings, grounds, transportation, and safety was one that was missed. If you want to make it, that is January 28th at 5 p.m. I don't know if a location was set. January 28th, 5 p.m. Buildings, grounds, transportation, and safety.
We may have to move that, though, because we're double booked. We have a budget committee meeting that night as well at 5:30, so we might have to figure that out.
Got it. Thank you. There's been a lot of that. A lot of things all happen at once. And I am finally done.
Good.
I'm making
No,
up
that's
for the lack of a presentation.
That's okay. No. Yeah, 7:15. Business administrators report at the next meeting. Yep. And city councilor is excused. And we'll go through some of the committee reports. I know we just had one. So budget and revenue is our first meeting and real meeting to review the fiscal year 2026 budget is the 21st at 5:30 at the SAU 56 offices. This says City Hall chambers here under 10.1, but I think all of our budget meetings will happen at the SAU. Is that potentially for the school board budget workshop, do you think, that it says there?
It might be, because it says SAU 56 office first and then City Hall chambers afterwards, so, but they are all at the SAU.
It says SAU office. That's just a typo that City Hall Chambers is there.
Yeah, February 4th will be at the SAU office as well. Right, correct? Yeah. Okay. So no update there, but I encourage you all to tune in because our requirement to give our numbers to the city is March 1st. So that's going to be a quick turnaround this January, end of January and February. Building Grounds, Transportation, and Safety Committee, per request, we added safety to it. Building Grounds and Transportation kind of has the most safety components. So Chair of Building Grounds and Transportation and Safety, do BGTS. D. St. Croix, any update on your end?
No
Okay,
updates right now.
So the next one will be the 28th, and we'll
Yeah, we'll have to
get the
talk about that.
time or another time, and we'll get that
Yep,
published and
100%.
everything
Yep.
as soon as we can. Ed Programs and Community Outreach Committee, Board Member O'Brien Hart. We just had our meeting. I was there to make it a quorum. Board Member Saldati and Jameson is sick. Board Member Saldati has moved. There's a requirement in the city charter to be at your location for 6 months before you can apply to be on the school board. So that is where it's at. I'm not aware of any other applicants. We're very thankful for you being here. So it seems lean. But yeah, if we can have a quick update on what we spoke about this evening.
Yeah, for our meeting, we continue to look at this constellation of food security and how it connects with attendance and achievement and community connection. And late last year, but also, throughout the time, I suppose, the board has been working so immemorial time, but the focus being on how do we increase attendance, how do we increase engagement, how do we increase, academic performance, and how do we feed people and increase food security. And so tonight we continued our discussions. We were able to get some check-ins from 68 Hours of Hunger. They've been looking at getting the pantry with fresh picks, and it was nice to also connect in New Hampshire Hunger. I'm going too fast. New Hampshire Hunger Solutions, and just do some learning there around we continue to come back to the importance of the SNAP forms being so important, not only for, free and reduced lunch, but also for our special education. Oh man, I'm looking at the wrong notes. Yeah, just all of this stuff, like our community eligibility. Hold on, looking back. Maggie, you can fill in if I'm. Yeah.
Just the connection with getting the forms, kind of the
Right, like
digital format, and kind of getting the reducing barriers.
Right, and it's more than just the free and reduced lunch. It has a lot to do with a lot of the funding we get, and it's not just. I guess I just want to reiterate the importance of these SNAP forms and how can we make that easier for families to access, for families to fill out. We're looking at some of the policies around, do we want to shift to maybe opting out instead of opting in and that kind of thing. And so just continue the discussion around how to get our community to fill out those forms so that we can get services to our community, essentially. Yeah.
That's great, and I think part of the outreach, we had 4 community members at the meeting today. I'd encourage the board, the engagement, right? We have community engagement and community outreach as a committee, but I encourage everyone to get community members involved, the engagement. We have two family members in the audience that really their ideas, their input, it's what our community needs, and it's kind of setting the stage to be able to really work and succeed together to bring, voices to the table, people. These are public meetings. Sometimes it's just the board, but I encourage everyone has a seat at the table. We can make room always, but when we talk about curriculum and absenteeism and other things, it's not just a problem for us to solve. It's a community-wide thing, and the more engagement we have from family members, community members, business members, anyone that's really willing to listen and engage, I encourage that across the board, across the community.
It was really cool to see the community members connecting and, bouncing ideas off each other and forming connections totally outside of us. So that was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it was wonderful. Yeah, thank you. Personnel negotiations, we had a brief update. I think that may carry if there's anything else. Board Member Clark?
I just wanted to fill the public in just some things that we have had. We have met like 3 or 4 times, I think. All times have been respectful, both parties. And I just want the personnel and maintenance committee just to feel like they're heard, and I hope they feel heard. I hope they feel appreciated, because we do. We're close to wrapping up. We're just finalizing some last minute things, but that is all. Thanks.
Thank you. The Eyes on 30 Committee, Board Liaison and Arts and Culture, Board Member Saldati can still fill in on these roles and kind of give us an update as a community liaison as part of this, because there is, they're willing to be a part of this. Again, board members are elected, but we are encouraged to reach out to others to be advisors, engage in any other ways. I don't think we'll ever have completely full room, but that's the capacity that Gemma Saldati will continue with as a community member. All right, a policy committee, Board Member Brown, do we have some updates? We have 2 for first reading today.
Yeah, all I was going to say is our next meeting is on the 28th.
Oh,
I'm sorry, 20.
yeah, you're
The
right.
28th.
We're like triple booked on the 28th.
Okay. Although ours, I thought in my calendar I had it for 5:15, not 5:45, as it appears here.
Mine's at 5:15.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay,
So
that could work.
if the 28th is booked with other things, we'll just have to see who's available. And as you said, at our last meeting, we got 2 accounting, financial related policies ready for first reading, and I'll read them at that point.
Great, thank you. All right, our presentation is postponed this evening for special education. However, I did share with the board the presentation, so any questions, please reach out. In the meantime, I appreciate that was shared, just because it's a lot to go over, but we'll do that probably in February.
28th.
Or on the 28th it will be, okay.
Next
All right,
meeting.
great, the next meeting we'll have it. All right, agenda item number 7.1, our first reading.
Can I make a motion to read by title only? Second. Thank you.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. That means that we don't have to read every word out loud at this point, okay?
All right, but I'm going to preface this, that section D, which both policies concern, is the fiscal management section of our policies. So with that, policy DAF regarding administration of federal grant funds. Can we continue?
Yes.
Policy DIE, audits.
Lovely.
There you go.
Both required by law and updates. Any policies that you come across or you have information on, Board Member Prescott, please, with your expertise, if there's anything there, please bring it to Board Member Brown for review. There's many things happening in the legislative committee, I think 1,600 things, so we're going to try to keep up to date on that, but take a breath in between and of the new year and go with our budget first and some local perspective. There's no new business and there's no old business this evening. Our future meeting dates, I'm going to hold off on. I think we need to this week, as soon as possible, get them in order. Our next board meeting is the 28th, followed by a budget workshop on Saturday, February 1st. Typically, we do that in City Hall chambers. I believe it's still City Hall chambers, starting at 8 or 9. Please let me know your preference. Breakfast will be provided. It's a long, binders are made for the board typically, and we review it. So our first glance will be the 21st at the budget meeting, and then at the 28th, we'll see the budget officially for the full board, and then the February 1st is the budget workshop, and then our next meeting is February 11th and February 18th. That's only a week between, so February 18th would be the final board meeting to approve the budget. That's a breath. So again, anyone in the public that would like to see the budget, has input on the budget, any idea, you are welcome at all those meetings. Please get in touch with any one of us and we'll connect with you. Comments by visitors this evening? No pressure. Okay. Yeah, it's very fast. Comments by board members. Any comments by board members? One comment? No? Yes.
Pointing out that the next ed programs is in March and we're skipping February.
Okay, March, sometime in March?
It's March 11th. No, wait. Blah, 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 blah. Yep, March 11th.
March 11th,
Yep.
okay, and, all right. Okay. All right, yes.
I just want to say I am so proud as a peacock of my winter track squad at the high school. We had our track meet on, how many days? Sunday? Seems so far away. And they all had personal records. They all PR'd. I was so thrilled. And two of my athletes, I call them my athletes, reduced their time in the 600 by 4 seconds. Yes. So I'm very, very proud of them. And so looking forward to continuing to train a little bit and then get ready for spring. So just shout out. Proud of you guys. Thanks.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Coach Brown. And the other thing is, Board Member Brown is our liaison for the Fields Committee of the city, looking into a new track, facilities, benches, bleachers, things like that. So any feedback or when you want to get an update, it's a public meeting at City Hall later this month. So there's real great kind of work and optimism with that. It's not going to happen tomorrow, but thank you for serving on that. All right. Non-public. Yes, of course.
I don't want to leave as we're going into budget season that I might be employed in my track. I'm strictly a volunteer, so I just, for anyone who thinks that there's a conflict of interest with me reviewing any salary I might be getting out of this, no, it's all strictly volunteer. Thank you.
Thanks. In our small community, it's kind of a lot of the same folks kind of stepping up and doing volunteer. If anyone would like to be on the board or volunteer in any other way, please reach out. Your seat's open and there's opportunities, but that's kind of more of the challenge, is to find people to step up and give their time. So I appreciate everyone's time today. It's not even 7:30 yet, but I do need a motion to go into non-public per 91A3 2C.
I motion to go into non-public per what Maggie said.
91A3C 2C. Yeah, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a roll call, please?
Maggie Larson. Carrie Clark. Sarah O'Brien Hart. Crystal D. St. Croix. Marsha Brown.
Yes.
Carly Prescott.